So I talked quite a while ago now about how I practice frugality and the different strategies that I use. And initially I found it really helpful in terms of being able to put money aside and build up some savings and shifting my mindset so that I didn't spend money on things I didn't really need. However, recently I've come to realise that being frugal hasn't been as good for my mindset and my relationship with money as I thought it would be. So I wanted to talk about that, and also wanted to talk about something that I read in the news which really sort of galvanised me into starting to shift my mindset around frugality. It made me realise that there was a lot wrong in the way that I was thinking about money and owning possessions. So first, I want to preface this video by acknowledging that I am in a position where I can choose to be frugal, and I realise that there are people out there where frugality is not a choice, it's a necessity because they are living day to day. They need to really focus on their incoming and outgoings. And whilst that's still true for me, I can't just spend money like it's going out of fashion. I know that I'm in a fortunate position where that's not so much of a worry. I do have extra money that I can spend on other things. So one of the most effective strategies that I've used and I continue to use in order to be frugal is to keep a spreadsheet of the money that I've got coming in and all of my outgoings, like food, groceries, insurances, that sort of thing. And when it came to buying our house a year ago, I was keen to put aside as much spare cash as possible that would go towards paying extra off the mortgage, because I'd like to have the mortgage paid off around the time I retire. So I decided that within my set budget or my list of outgoings, the extra amount that I would pay off the mortgage would be counted as an outgoing. It would be fixed. It would come out of my account once I got paid, and that was it. So it's been just over a year now that we bought the house, and I've paid extra off the mortgage every month without fail. But over the past couple of months, I've noticed a few things. I've started to feel a real anxiety about purchasing things that I want. And I'm going to be honest here, it's mainly books. I've really got into reading my books. I really enjoy them after having a period where I just couldn't sit down with the book. I will try and buy secondhand where I can, but if secondhand isn't available, I'll buy a new one. But when it comes to buying not only books but anything else, I don't feel that I should, in case some emergency happens, and therefore if I spent money on something I don't really need, that's going to affect my ability to address whatever emergency is being imagined in my head. And the problem with this line of thinking is that I do have a savings pot for emergencies. We deliberately built up a savings pot so that if anything untoward happened, I don't know, something happened with the house and something needed repairing, then we would have the money there, and we do. But for some reason it's almost like, well, I can't touch the emergency pot for emergencies. Make it make sense. The next thing that I noticed was that I'm worried about leaving myself short for money. And not just if I buy something I want, but also if I buy something I genuinely need. So I spend money on some supplements like vitamins, and although I don't need to buy them every month because they come in quite a big supply, when it does come to needing to buy some more, I almost feel like I should put off buying them because I'm worried I won't have enough money for the rest of the month. And lastly, I've started to feel guilty if I do buy something. And since committing to put a certain amount away off of the mortgage, it almost feels like I've become much more preoccupied around my finances, and they have to be tightly controlled, and I can't possibly deviate from what I'm doing because otherwise that impacts on me being able to pay extra off the mortgage, and ultimately me being able to retire early. And do you know what would solve all of the above worries? If I reduced the extra amount that I paid off the mortgage and I kept a little bit more for myself, I wouldn't have any of these worries. And this is where the problem for me has come. It feels like I've gotten so rigid in my frugality that it's become, in my mind, not a viable option to reduce the extra amount that I pay off my mortgage each month. It's almost like I can't do that. I have to stick to that amount, even if it means foregoing things that I need, or if it's things that I want to spend money on that I'd like to do. And this goal of wanting to pay off the mortgage early is because when I retire, I would like to not have mortgage payments, because that would mean I have more disposable income. The way the world is, who knows if I'll be able to retire fully when I'm in my kind of mid to late 60s, but at least it would mean that I can work less because I wouldn't have the mortgage payments to pay off, and it would be far less worry. And I'm not saying that it's not good to plan for the future, but I think that I've been doing this to the extent that it's been getting in the way of me living my life now. I'm denying myself things that I would like, or even things that I need, because I I've put the rest of my money away into something for the future. Like I say, I'm not averse to that, but it's almost like my mind is living in the future that's not even here yet. I'm not living in the now. And this is where the news story comes in, the news story that sort of really got me thinking a lot more about this. There's a company that wants to build a massive solar farm. Where this land is, there are people living. And I read that they are going to be given compulsory purchase orders to move out their homes. It just put into stark realization that, well, first of all, we never really own anything, which I've talked about in another video. But even if you think you own your house, even if you've paid it off, someone can come along at some point and just take it off you. They can say, right, we're going to give you so much for your house because we need you to move because we're building on your land or the land that your house is on. So then my thought process went to, well, I could pay off my house, but it's never going to be truly mine. And that even if I did, someone could just come along and take it away. And then alongside this, I realized I've made a huge assumption that I am going to live till my retirement. I'm going to reach a point in my life where I see my mortgage paid off and I'm going to be able to live beyond that and enjoy it. I've made a huge assumption that I will reach at least 67, 68 years of age and enjoy the fruit of my labours. And the point is, as bleak as this sounds, that is not guaranteed. I don't know that. I feel in relatively good health at the moment, but nothing is guaranteed to get me to that age at all. Anything can happen in the next 20 or so years. So effectively, I will have spent many years, 20 or so years, putting pretty much all my spare cash to pay extra off my mortgage, feeling anxious about buying myself things I need or, you know, things that I want, which is okay. I don't think there's anything problematic with that. I'm interested in things like going out for meals or seeing shows with my husband, having experiences. So I would have sacrificed having those experiences, enjoying those things for the sake of waiting to really live until I reached retirement. Why am I not doing that now? I don't know if I'm going to get there. What a waste of a life that would be if I've waited to live. And that hit me really hard. I'm not saying it's not a good aim to want to pay off your mortgage. Sometimes there are sacrifices we can make now for a more comfortable future, but I do think it comes down to a balance. My attitude to money and my relationship with money has become a lot more anxious over this past year because I've been so fixated on paying as much off the mortgage as I can. I can still pay extra off my mortgage, but it won't be as much as I originally would have liked to have paid off because I want to have extra to do things in the here and now and enjoy life now. And of course it will mean that I won't pay off my mortgage as early as I'd like to, but that's what it will be. And who knows what will happen in the next 20 odd years. I can't live my life based on assumptions I'm making about a future that I have no way of knowing is going to happen. And that's the message I wanted to share here really. I don't think there's anything wrong with being frugal. I don't think there's anything wrong in planning for the future. But I do think there's something really important about finding balance. So I would urge you to not focus so much on the future that you're neglecting your life right now. And if you'd like to learn some more lessons that I've learned through frugality, then check out the video that's on the screen. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you again soon.